Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Monday, October 21st, 2013. I am astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, sign up now for my November webinar. I'm going to be doing it when I come back on November 2nd, Saturday morning, so check it out because we're having a huge solar eclipse. Mercury is retrograde today, by the way. So we're going to go into that and the whole November thing and what deeper it goes into and the crazy solar eclipse. And this is November Jupiter retrograde. Check out. It's going to be an awesome webinar. But today, Mercury is now retrograde in Scorpio, and you're talking to the truth seeker preacher astrology channel. You know, I've been preaching all of this. Live into your truth. Step into the realness. And that's because this is Scorpio time. Saturn in Scorpio. We've got the North Node in Scorpio. Now we have a Mercury retrograde here. And this is all in a grand water trine, and I see all of this as our true essence, our real inner self, wanting to come out and express itself correctly in the outer world that we live in of this reality. And of course, I'm a big 2012 person, so it is of course in 2013 when you must now understand your truth. You must make or break it, especially as we have a Pluto-Uranus square, which has been battling out here and is starting to get very intense as the week is starting to close here. I'm telling you, this thing is intense. And I think a lot of this is now having to really look at your life deeper and really review this truth. In many ways, a lot of us understand it, and in others, we understand it not enough. And I think on all of us, we don't understand it enough. That's why Mercury's going to retrograde here. And it's deep. It's going into deeper layers of ourselves. Saturn is getting deeper now. And today, we get triggered with a huge T-square on top of a Mercury retrograde and a moon in Gemini, which is all about stimulation, which is all about all this processing, and it's emotionally there. So our emotions are involved in this, and especially emotions are involved with Jupiter and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. This is a lot of emotional energy of what we really want, and the curiosity, I think, starts to build now of, yeah, what is it that I really want in my life? And starting to ask more questions about this. But as it squares Mars in Virgo and as it squares Neptune, which are in opposition, you know, we need to make sure that we're following our gut. We need to make sure that we're not questioning it. Maybe over-questioning could cause an inability to take the action that should be right in front of you, especially as a Mercury retrograde is today. You know, there's a lot around the moves that are taken today, and whether or not you're making the right move or not, you know, there's a lot of questions in the air. And a lot of it has to come in trust in your gut, which cannot be simple and it cannot come easy. And that's what today is about. It's not just the Mercury retrograde, it's a moon in Gemini, which is also triggering this Mercury retrograde, which is really going to be like, wow, what is going on here? This is going to really... And especially as the sun is finishing up in Libra, it's on its last 2 days here, there's a lot to weigh out in our lives, there's a lot to question now, and on top of all this, you know, this Mars energy wants to go and fix things and get to the bottom and these little things and adjust our lives correctly, and it's being squared by the moon. So our emotions and these questions, whenever you're going to see a Gemini Virgo square, a lot of questions come up. And a lot of questions come up, especially as they're squaring and opposing Neptune, which is, are we listening to our gut? Are we really following what's behind the curtain in our life? And it's difficult because the energy is pushing us into different directions than spirit. To be honest with you, we get caught up in this reality so much. We're forced to be in this reality. I mean, you can feel it in your life. It's like the physical aspect. It's reminding you you're in a physical life right now. This is something we can't escape, but it's also not something we can escape of making our physical reality everything and not paying attention to our spiritual. That's what we've done for so long. And I think it's interesting to see that the universe kind of throws us in this space as, you know, there is way more underneath, and that's what this Mercury retrograde is about. That's what all this energy is to really expand your emotions and to face all of your own fears, to face all of the problems you're having in recreating who you are, reinventing who you are, and breaking some old systems that you've had. And this can be the systems of the way that you live your life in every manner, whether there are rules that you've set up about how you think you should live or what is the right way to live. You know, this is just times. This is to deal with relationships too, as we're finishing a Libra transit and we're getting ready because on Wednesday the sun comes into Scorpio and wraps up a Libra transit and drops us into what I'm thinking is the most intense times that we're going to see. I was just thinking about today as I was driving, getting ready for this trip I'm going on, I'm like, oh my gosh, November is just going to be that month, isn't it? And it's this energy that we're going to go through is not going to come around for another 20 and a half years. So, you know, we're going to go through it, but this is it. This is the meat and potatoes of a big truth serum spiritually, of really digging down, of really seeing the hidden aspects of ourselves, really looking for what we want. Remember, there is a truth that in everybody's life is trying to come out. And if you keep denying this thing, especially if you question it today, if you're not paying attention to it, and if you're not listening to what you really want spiritually, you're not going to make your reality adjust the way that you want to. You have to listen to this now. You have to just go. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense logically. Spiritually, I bet you every little way and every which way it literally does. So I hope that helps. This is going to be a powerful time. Don't be so afraid of this Mercury retrograde. It's trining Jupiter. There's a lot of support behind this one. Don't forget that either. And this was a very powerful eclipse. It was actually, I'm going to be honest, I checked out some other astrologers. One of the astrologers I kind of liked actually didn't think this was an eclipse. And I don't know if you saw on the internet, but I did watch the lunar eclipse live, and I did watch that moon shadow. And in the astrology, it's very close to the nodes. If there are people out there saying this wasn't an eclipse, this wasn't an eclipse. And I know you felt it. And believe it or not, on the eclipse, a guy in front of my building literally had a panic attack, broke everything, dropped. I mean, I watched people lose it in front of my place. I saw people on the streets of Hollywood go gnarly and crazy. So, but that was the trigger point to us identifying correctly. And I guarantee you, wherever you were at in your life during this weekend, you were going, oh my God, is this really what it is? Is this really what I am identifying with in my life? This is the week, and these are the weeks, and these are the months where we make the right adjustments to make it exactly the way we want to. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you want to book a reading for when I come back, which is going to be that first week in November, or if you want to sign up for the November webinar, it's all on the link below or on my website. Check out inclusiveastrology.com. Thank you guys for all of your support, and I will see you tomorrow.